How's it going, everybody? We've got a very exciting team coming to the game, the Cabal team. The reason this team is exciting is because they are a cosmic crucible team. They flex both the offense and defense, but it's a three-person team. There is so much theory crafting potential with some of your favorite villains. It is definitely going to be the year of the villains, with Mephisto coming, with Skrull in the game, and now with Cabal coming and just giving this crazy synergy. I think you're going to really like this team. If you do like this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. But for right now, let's get into it. Alright guys, so here we are with our Cabal roster, and this team is very, very interesting. We're going to quickly go through the kits. We're going to talk about all the stuff you guys like to know first. So let's talk about the Rework stats. Namor, 18% health, 26% damage, 7% armor, 31% focus, 6% resistance. So not the sort of damage jump I would have liked to see like we saw from X-23, but maybe, just maybe, he's going to get damage from another source. Now, he is Promethean. I believe his speed stat was unchanged, so he's still slow as molasses as far as this meta goes, at 113 speed. I have him as a Raider right now, but I'm definitely leaning towards Striker on Namor because they did change his kit to have a lot of bleeds in it. Let's talk about it. So, his basic is now going to apply heal, block, and bleed, similar to X-23, and it actually is going to give us this ISO information now on the counterattack and assist. It will always crit. You do want the T4 on this because when this character performs a counterattack or assist, it'll also apply additional 2 bleed. He's going to be doing a lot of assisting, as we're going to see when we look at the other kits. So this bleed is going to be very impactful, and then when he does a striker attack, he'll do bleeds as well. This is going to be an extremely T4 heavy team. Alright, then we got the special attack primary adjacent targets, some piercing damage in there, and in Crucible, primary and secondary targets apply bleed, primary and secondary attacks apply bleed to those targets. The T4 on this just increases the damage by a little bit. You might think you don't want that. There is multiple hits in here, right? So it does do a lot of extra damage, but it also will increase the damage of the bleed itself. Now, this will be a high value T4. I'll leave it off for now. We got the ultimate attack all enemies for 300% damage, flip all positive effects. All enemies with vulnerable get their speed bar wiped away by 50%. That is the equivalent of both Eternal Alts. This is crazy. And in War Offense, he will still do that to everybody irregardless. So very, very powerful, unavoidable, always cannot be counterattacked, and will always crit. This is why we had him as a Raider before, but you're going to see we're going to have other Raiders on this team. Alright, his passive. On spawn, apply offense up and 2 deflect to Fantastic Four and all Cabal allies. On self or villain, ally crit, bury yourself and all villains for 5% of this character's max health. Apply speed up to self and all Cabal allies. So we're going to want a fast villain to get in there to hit quickly to give our Cabal team speed up, because this team is very slow. But maybe they'll be protected, because whenever we see offense up and deflect on spawn, and maybe there'll be a defense up on spawn for someone else, we got to be concerned about an enemy Skrull team wiping this, because this is going to be the new best Crucible team in the game. They need to be able to beat Skrull at this point. Otherwise, it's not really something we need to look into unless you want a big defensive team. So he's going to have damage, armor, and he's also going to Cabal allies damage. In Crucible, if he has 2 or more Cabal allies, enemies cannot gain death groups. So I do really like the reworks to Namor. They feel very meaningful, and with his teammates, he is an absolute unit to be reckoned with. All right, let's go on over to the leader. Let's look about the unique first. So he is Gamma Radiation, surprise, surprise. I currently have him as a striker. I could definitely see the argument to make him as a Raider for more of that barrier, more of the auto attacks that you're going to see he does. Or sorry, more of the vulnerables that's going to feed into Iron Patriot. But I think I'm going to leave him as a striker because he's the slowest character on the team, and he's just very slow at 107. So we're going to have other villains kind of filling the role of Raider when we do our theory crafting. But let's look at the rest of his kit for now. Did I show his speed? He's 107. He's very slow. So he does need all T4s, unfortunately. They're all very impactful. This is a Crucible team. They're going to be super T4 heavy. Just want to throw that out there. Maybe doesn't need is not the right word, but like very, very high value. So his basic, he's going to attack, he's going to heal villain and Gamma allies, he's going to clear negative effect, he's going to gain assist now from Cabal or Gamma ally, that's the T4. And on his ISO attack, he's going to flip negative effects into positive effects for self and all Cabal allies, and then he's going to gain stealth. His basic reads as like an ultimate ability. That's how impactful the leader is going to be. His special, apply 3 regeneration to self and all villain allies, heal self and all allies for 20% of his character's max health, attack primary target for 350% damage, call 2 villains that have the highest damage that do not have assists now to attack the primary target. Those allies gain 25% damage for this attack. I'm really emphasizing the assists now because when we see Iron Patriot's kit, you're going to see he's doing assists now for every single Cabal turn, maybe even every single villain turn. So this is going to be a gigantic hit. He's going to call 2 villains with the highest damage, not Iron Patriot, because he's going to do an attack anyway. So that's 3 hits. He does 1, and then he can do an ISO attack, which is why I like him as a striker. That's 5 hits on 1 character. Absolute bonkers, and they gain increased damage. In Crucible, this will also apply Safeguard to self and all villain and gamma allies. If this character has 2 or more Cabal allies, prolong the duration of all positive effects on self and Cabal and villain allies by 1 up to a max of 3. Bonkers, bonkers, bonkers ability. His ultimate. He applies speed up for 2 turns plus 2 counter to self and all villains. Clear revive once for primary and adjacents. Attack primary and adjacent targets for 350. Bury yourself and all villain allies for 15%. Generate 3 ability energy for all Cabal allies. In Crucible, generate additional 3 ability energy for all villains. This can make your Skrull ult turn 2 instead of turn 3. Keep that in mind. Very, very impactful. 3 ability energy is a lot. Then we got his passive. Now, his passive is what protects the team. So, on spawn, he gains 3 evades, applies defense up for 2 turns to self and all villain allies. Oh my god, we now have 4 buffs when our entire team. Skrull is going to wreck us, except the leader will also apply Safeguard to self and all Cabal allies on spawn, and on turn gain 1 charge up to a maximum of 50 for the following. So it happens on spawn and on turn. For each ally with a different class, for each Cabal ally, for each hero enemy, gain 2 charge. So what do charges do? Well, let's scroll down there. Let's find out what charges do first before we head on. For every 5 charge, gain 5 crit damage, 5 block chance for self and all villains. So you can get that 10 times, which means you can get 50% crit chance, 50% crit damage, 50% block chance for yourself and all villains. Huge, huge villain team here. Huge theory crafting implications. I am super pumped on this team. Alright, so in Crucible, villain allies gain 50% max health and armor. Bonkers, bonkers ability. Let's go back up to where we left off. When this character or any Cabal ally drops below 50% life for the first time, do the following. Flip all disrupt, apply stealth and defense up, and barrier for 10% of this character's max health. So he's got a health trigger for his entire tag team, the Cabal. I hate health triggers. You know how impactful they are? Very, very strong ability. Until this character takes a turn, on enemy turn, bury yourself and all villain allies for 10% of max health. So not only are raiders going to give us, not only are characters that crit going to give us barrier if they're a villain, but also if they're a villain, they give us additional barrier just because leaders on the team. In Crucible, this team has 2 or more Cabal allies. Enemies with vulnerable cannot gain Safeguard. Guys, this kit is insane. This reads like a Dark Dimension character. It's bonkers. I'm super excited to play with this team. And to round out the team, we do have the Iron Patriot. His unique is going to be the titanium alloy. I currently has him a raider. I think I will be keeping him as a raider. He's the fastest of the Cabal characters at 119, which is admittedly very slow. So here's the thing. Let's talk about the speed situation right now. Because they're so slow, because they need to survive and that barrier is super impactful, the 2 villain characters that you put with them either need to speed them up via like a speed up option or like an Emma, or they need to be fast enough and be raiders and crit so that they can give barrier these guys can survive to pop off. It's going to be very, very important for this team. But let's go through the kit of Iron Patriot. So he attacks, he does defense down. On the ISO attack, he's actually going to clear immunity, do defense down, heal block, and disrupt, and slow for 2 turns. I told you already, in his passive, he gains assist now on every Cabal turn. It might be every villain turn. We're going to find out here in a few minutes. This is part of the T-Ford. You do need to have this T-Ford so that he does do the defense down, the heal block, the disrupt, all that kind of stuff. Huge, huge, huge ability. He is Jubilee on crack. He is Okoye on speed. He is Miss Marvel on meth, alright? This guy is crazy. Alright, let's look at the special. Attacks all enemies for 300% piercing. Clear all positive effects. Apply 1 vulnerable. That's right, he's doing vulnerable on an ability. And then defense down up to a maximum of 3. In Crucible, it'll also apply trauma for 2 turns to all enemies. And he gains 500% extra focus for this attack, and it cannot be dodged. Too good. Just too good. His ultimate, which is his turn 2 ability, flip, deflect, and minor deflect on primary and adjacent targets. Attack primary adjacent targets for 400%. Apply 2 vulnerable up to a maximum of 5. Defense down for 2 turns. Heal block for 2 turns and 2 bleed. Apply 2 stun to the primary target. This attack cannot be dodged. And then the pass is so strong. And this is part of the T4 again. He's a full T4 recommended character, guys. I know you hate hearing that. I hate having to say it. But everything is super impactful. Alright. His passive, on spawn, just like Kang, he applies vulnerable to all enemies right away. I guess Kang does it on turn if he has the full team. He just does it right away, which is going to be huge, as we're going to talk about. Gain assist now on each Cabal ally's turn, so it is just on the Cabal ally turn. On turn, grant assist now to random Cabal ally. Enemies with vulnerable take an additional 10% damage per vulnerable up to a maximum of 30. So it's like another defense down. It's like a minor defense down. If this character has 2 or more Cabal allies, enemies cannot gain stealth. RIP Skrull stealth. Gain 50% damage and focus. Villains gain 50% focus. In Crucible, all villains gain 50% damage. If this character has 2 or more Cabal allies, this character and villain allies cannot... they gain 100% accuracy. RIP Blinds. RIP Weaver. If this character has 2 or more Cabal allies, enemy characters with vulnerable, which Iron Patriot does on spawn, cannot fill speed bar for self or allies. RIP Skrull. That's right, guys. This should be an RIP Skrull. I don't have access to Crucible to test this team for you today. I will in a few days. We're going to tech them into war practice. But yeah, this should be an RIP Skrull situation, which means Skrull is probably going to become an offensive character, which is really cool. On villain ally crit, apply +1 vulnerable to enemies up to a maximum of 5. So here's the thing. I wanted him as a raider. And then I read this again for like the 5th time I read this. So on villain ally crit. Now what I think I want all the Cabal allies as strikers. Because Iron Patriot is doing a bunch of vulnerables. I'm going to be pairing him with fast villains that do vulnerables. And we're going to go from there because all their striker attacks are super impactful. Let's find out if that was a terrible idea by taking them into some war practice. Alright, let's start off with something easy. We got the full 5 villain team. We got Cabal with Emma. Like I talked about, Emma's a villain. Help get them to go a little bit faster than their enemies. And Archangel. You know, he's pretty quick. He's got a Raider. Let's see how this one goes. We're just taking it up against Pegasus. We're taking it easy for the first match. This is war. This is not their game mode. I want to stress that. This is not their game mode. They're missing so many buffs, okay? So, we just want to get some crits, right? Well, they got deflects. This isn't going to be great. Let's steal that deflect. Let's see if we can get a crit. We did get a crit. Watch the barrier go. It's a good amount of barrier. All right, cool. We got a stun here. Let's go ahead and... is this the stun? No, this is not the stun. This is just a big damage ability. Let's go ahead and throw it at rescue. See if we can delete her. Oh, yeah, she's gone. So you can see Iron Patriot with that offense up. Namor gives us huge damage. Now Namor will come and do a 50% rewind on them. That's huge. Oh, okay. You know what? Leader hits like 40,000 times on his special. Let's see how this goes. There's 1, there's 2. We'll never know about the 3rd, 4th, and 5th attack. It's just over. All right, let's just basic with Emma, get that stealth off, and then let's slow this down. Let's have a good little cinematic experience. Iron Patriot comes in. I'm Canadian, so I'm not about to sing the anthem, but I really want to because that's so cool! Okay, all right, let's take them into a much more serious challenge. Well, all right, let's take them up against this Superior / Sinister Six team, and because we're taking them into a harder team, let's take a better character with us. Let's go Kang. Now, I wish Kang could be a Raider, but I don't have that done, so we're just not going to worry about it. Let's go in here. Let's see how this goes. I actually have not done this match, and I have no idea if this will be a success or not. I'm hoping it will be. Otherwise, we're going to look really silly here in a second. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and get some slows out there, most notably on the Green Goblin. Alright, that's good. Alright, and then Vulture goes, and that's really bad for us. But let's continue on anyway. Let's go ahead and throw this special here at Green Goblin again. Knocked him nice and low, that's good. Oh wow, knocked him really low. Ooh, Leader does like a bazillion attacks on his basic. Let's see how this, or sorry, on his special. We're not even going to need a bazillion attacks. We're just going to use, what is that, 3 or 4 out of the 5? Alright, here comes a nasty rewind. Plus, it should be some pretty good damage. Maybe we pushed that Doc Ock too low. Oh, no, we didn't. Let's go ahead and throw the special. Try and get slow out there. I want to slow the Doc Ock so I can just continue to focus down his allies. Uh-oh. Kraven's a beast. Oh, but now we got Kang going. Kang Bang coming in hot. Ooh! Alright. Oh, wow. How much of this was Kang and how much of this was the Cabal team? I don't know, but I am impressed. Let's go ahead, let's up the ante, and let's increase the difficulty level. Let's go try like a Secret Defenders or something. A team that's really fast. Alright, so here we are. This is like a full Secret Defenders team. We got the Emma here, who's kind of useless because of Photon. So why don't we get a little crazy with it? Why don't we bring in Vulture? Vulture, the characters, there's so many heroes, they're going to go fast. Vulture is a villain, so he'll give us some crits. He can put some slows out there. Let's see if this does anything for us. Again, I have not done this matchup yet. Alright, you know what? I'd love to give offense down to that Robbie Reyes. That'd be huge. Nice, and we landed slow, big time. Alright, we get a completed rewound. That's not great. Let's do some damage here. Alright, Kang coming in hot. Kang demolished. Nice. Let's pretend that that was because the the Cabal allies did a bunch. Ooh, that doesn't look good. Ooh, that doesn't look good. Uh-oh. 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 Well, you know what, guys? It's technically not a, it's not a raid team. It is a Crucible team. In Crucible, I think Vulture Blind would not have mattered there. Ooh, this went bad. You know what? I think I know what we can do to make sure we win this. Let's go ahead and back out. I think I know the perfect villain to make this an easy win. All right, let's go in here. Let's go back to Secret Defenders, and let's kind of up the ante, and let's grab Mephisto. Oh, this is so cool! I really wish there was a video I could go watch that would show Mephisto do it in action. Oh my god, this is so good!